Hello guys, welcome to another lesson on social studies on the OK e-learning program. My name is Otin Joseph, the facilitator for grade 7 social studies. On the last lessons, we studied adolescents' reproductive health. We learned about the concept of adolescence. We studied some changes that go on in the adolescence phase. We distinguished between puberty and adolescence. Then finally, we looked at what reproductive health really was. Today, we are going to look at adolescent irresponsible behavior. Adolescent irresponsible behavior. When we reach the adolescence phase, we become hyperreactive. We think of ourselves a lot and want to do things most of the times on our own. And this thing results in irresponsible behaviors. We end up behaving in ways that are not accepted in the society. We end up doing things that do not conform to the social standards and the social norms of our societies. We end up disrespecting our parents, involving ourselves in sexual immorality, and a whole lot of stuff, gambling, and a whole lot of things that go contrary to our social status. Those activities are what we term as adolescent irresponsible behaviors. Why are they irresponsible behaviors? They are irresponsible behaviors because they do not conform to the social standards of our societies. They are not accepted in the society. We are not supposed to be doing them, but we end up doing them out of curiosity and out of other external forces that result as a result of the changes we go through in the adolescence period. Let's look at examples of adolescent irresponsible behaviors. We have sexual immorality. In the adolescent phase, the adolescent undergoes a lot of changes, physical and sexual changes, as well as emotional changes. These things put the adolescent under pressure and causes them to commit sexual immorality. They get high sex drives and they become highly attached to the opposite sex. They involve themselves in premarital sexual activities. This occurs because of the changes that goes on in their bodies, and also as a result of not getting the right education from home, the right sex education from their parents, results in the adolescents involving themselves in sexual immorality. Gambling, because the adolescent wants to be independent on their own, they end up doing things they like, things they want to do on their own, things they think are better for them. So they involve themselves in gambling, which is a very bad act, of course, and not accepted in our societies. Prostitution, yes, they end up becoming prostitutes, especially the adolescent girls. They end up giving themselves to men for material returns like money, phones, and other things, other material things you can think of. They end up becoming prostitutes. Robbery. The adolescent wants to have everything that he or she sees around. Anything that catches his or her eyes, he wants to have it. And if care is not taken, they end up involving themselves in robbery, some armed robbery and some disarmed robberies to get what they want. Stealing people's phones, watches, money. They even end up killing people to take their belongings. They also involve themselves in drug abuse, smoking of marijuana, cocaine, and whatever thing they can smoke. Anything you can think of, they end up smoking weed. They also end up taking alcohols. Yes, alcoholism. They end up becoming alcoholists. They take what has not been prescribed for them by practitioners. Okay, so they end up becoming alcoholists. And also they involve themselves in abortion, when unwanted pregnancy appears, the adolescent may not want to embrace the disgrace that may come with it. So they end up committing abortion. And we know what the results can be. Truancy, they hate schooling. They develop bad interest for schooling. You don't like going to school. They only like going around. That is streetism. Moving about, doing things that will not bring anything important to them. Things that will not benefit their lives. They spend their time on. Okay? Become truants. They begin to hate schooling, and then they end up going on street from one street to the other with friends, doing things that will not benefit their lives. Okay? These are not the only adolescent irresponsible behaviors we can talk of. We can also talk of masturbation as part of their sexual immorality, as one of the ways of satisfying their sexual drive or sexual hunger. They do those things. They do masturbate. All these things have negative effects on the life of the adolescent. I want us to look at the causes of these behaviors. What do you think will cause you or any adolescent to end up involving himself or herself in sexual immorality, gambling, prostitution, robbery, drug abuse, abortion, truancy, and streetism? What will cause you to stop schooling and end up moving from one street to the other, just wasting time for nothing profitable? So let's move on to some of the causes of these irresponsible behaviors. There are a lot of the causes of irresponsible behaviors in adolescents. Let's elaborate some few of them. First thing I will be talking about is the failure of parents to provide their wards with the basic physical needs. In the adolescent phase, the adolescent needs a lot of things. The adolescent needs to eat well. The adolescent needs to dress well. The adolescent must look good and must have all the basic physical needs so as to feel the way he or she is supposed to feel among their peers. When it happens that the parents are not able to provide their wards with all that they need physically, the basic things that are needed to make life complete for them, then they have to end up involving themselves in some acts to have what they want. They either involve themselves in robbery to get what they want, or in prostitution to get what they want. Okay? So parents failing to provide their wards with the basic necessities of life may cause the children to indulge themselves in these irresponsible behaviors. The next thing is peer pressure. Peer pressure. When parents are not able to provide their wards with their basic necessities, they end up trying to find any other means to get what they want in order to look well due to peer pressure. They don't want to look disgraced among their peers. They also want to feel like kings and queens among their peers. Therefore, if the parent is not able to provide what they want, they have to be pressured by their peers, their friends, their colleagues, the one they move about with. Yes, so if parents are not able to provide their wards with their basic necessities of life, they have to indulge themselves in irresponsible behaviors such as robbery or prostitution so as to get what they want in order to look good and better among their peers. Okay? So if parents are not providing, peer pressure will provide for them, and that will end up in the adolescents involving themselves in irresponsible behaviors. They might be also get some advices and counselings from their peers to do things against the social norms of our societies. Okay? The next thing is curiosity. The adolescent, already I have told you in the previous lesson that the adolescent become very curious, especially during the mid-adolescent period and the late adolescent periods. They want to do whatever they see. They want to practice whatever they hear and they see on their eyes. Okay, especially when they sense that the thing that they want to do is going to bring something better to them. That is, to them, they think it's good, it's nice, it will be enjoyable. They have to do it, okay? Such as prostitution, smoking of weed. They want to practice to feel how people feel when they smoke weed, or they want to practice to feel how people feel when they have sex. So curiosity also causes the adolescents to involve themselves in irresponsible behaviors such as smoking of weed and sexual misconduct. The next one is failure of parents to show affection to their wards. I said in the previous lesson that the adolescent becomes emotionally destabilized due to the changes they go through in the adolescent period. They don't want to be troubled. They don't want to be insulted at. Neither do they want to be shouted at by their parents. If parents fail to show affection to their wards, it might end up the adolescents indulging themselves in irresponsible behaviors. The adolescent might even leave the home and join their friends' home, join their friends in their homes because they think there they will have their peace of mind. No one will be shouting at them, no one will be insulting at them. They want peace of mind. The adolescent needs peace of mind. So parents must find better ways of dealing with their wards rather than insulting at them. That will not bring anything better. It will rather spoil the adolescent because of the changes they go through. The next thing is the influence of the mass media. The media, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the rest showcases some nude graphics. Graphics that adolescents are not supposed to see, they see. And once they see those graphics, they respond to them. Their bodies respond to them. They react to them by practicing what they see or by urging to do what they see on the social media. Okay? So the social media also plays a major role in causing adolescents to indulge themselves in irresponsible behaviors such as sexual misconduct and armed robbery, smoking of weed, and a whole lot. These are not the only causes of adolescent irresponsible behaviors. There are a lot of them that we can talk of. Okay? So your assignment is to go and look for other causes of irresponsible behaviors in adolescents. Let's move on with the effect of adolescent irresponsible behaviors on the life of the adolescents, on the nation, and on the society as a whole. What are some of the effects of irresponsible behavior of adolescents on the individual adolescent? How do these irresponsible behaviors affect the adolescent himself or herself? Contraction of STDs. First, STDs are sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV/AIDS, chlamydia, syphilis, gonorrhea. All these diseases are very dangerous and life-threatening diseases. If the adolescents involve themselves in sexual misconduct such as prostitution and any other premature sexually related activities, it might end up the adolescent contracting HIV or AIDS, syphilis, gonorrhea, and all the other sexually transmitted diseases. Remember, we do not have vaccines for most of the sexually transmitted diseases. And therefore, if you contract any of them, you might end up giving up your soul. It might end up causing your death. Okay? So, shun irresponsible behaviors such as premarital sexual related activities in order to be safe from contracting any of these STDs. The next one I want to talk about is the acquisition of bad reputation. Yes, look around yourself, your society, your community. Consider the youth, the adolescents that are tagged with bad names and bad reputations. They have bad names, bad reputations. People do not speak well of them. This boy, he's a drunkard. This girl, she's a prostitute. This boy, he is that. The people in the community, both the adults, the young, the children, everyone will be speaking bad about these adolescents that involve themselves in irresponsible behaviors. To keep your reputation, To have a good name and to be respected in your society, you must shun from indulging in irresponsible behaviors. The next one is school dropout. Imagine you involved yourself in premarital sex and you got pregnant. Just think of it. You are going to get a bad reputation among your friends in school, isn't it? People will be stigmatizing you. People will be stigmatizing you. People wouldn't want to come close to you because you have gotten pregnant. It's bad, so evil for a child, an adolescent, to get pregnant. As a matter of fact, your friends that are not pregnant will be stigmatizing you because you have gotten yourself pregnant. This may cause you to stop attending school because you cannot stand the stigmatization. So you have to drop out of school. When you drop out of school, what happens? You have ended up. You cannot achieve your life goals. So if you get pregnant and you become a school dropout, you'll not be able to achieve your life goals and dreams. And your friends who were able to focus on schooling and not indulging themselves in irresponsible behaviors and not becoming pregnant or doing anything that will cause them to be dropped out of school will be able to achieve their dreams in life. Those who want to become medical doctors will become. Those who want to become lawyers, big-time politicians will become. They will be earning up good names and money, whilst you will become any ordinary person in the society. You will be suffering doing cushy jobs. You know cushy jobs? Jobs that will earn you nothing. You work for the whole day and get 20 cedis, whilst your friend will just sit under the air condition, cross the legs, and all that he or she will be doing is just writing. And at the end of the month, the person will earn 5,000 Ghana cedis. You see the difference? When you meet them someday, you feel shy because your state will disqualify you from showing yourself to them. Okay? So to cut short of all these things happening to you someday in the future, all that you will be doing today, the irresponsible behaviors that you involve yourself in today, will only cost you in the future. Okay? Yes. So you become a school dropout, you'll not be able to achieve your dreams. Streetism. What happens when you become a school dropout or when your parents stop taking care of you because you have gotten yourself pregnant, or you are now an armed robber, or you are doing things that are not supposed to be done in the society? What happens to you? You'll be walking on the street just like that. You become a street child. How do you accord people on the street? You don't even respect them. They move from one place to another. They don't bath. They look always bad, dirty, and they'll be stinking. The armpits will be stinking, and you wouldn't even want to go closer to them. They become streetists. Okay? To not become a streetist, to avoid being a streetist, you have to shun all irresponsible behaviors whilst in your adolescent period. Okay? Lastly, death. You might die. Imagine getting pregnant. What will you do? If the stigmatization becomes so much greater that you cannot bear, the only option that might come in your mind is to take your life. Okay? You might commit suicide because of this peer pressure and the stigmatization in the society. Also, because you want to shun the stigmatization and the acquisition of bad reputation, you may want to do abortion, which might also cost your life. We have heard of the number of young teenagers whose lives have been claimed by abortion in our society. In a day, abortion kills a lot of the youth in Ghana and in the entire world. To not die, to stay, to live, and to be able to achieve all your dreams and life goals, please and please shun adolescent irresponsible behaviors. Avoid all of them. These are not the only effects on you, the adolescent, if you involve yourself in them. There are a lot of them. Second assignment, go and find other negative effects of adolescent irresponsible behavior on the adolescent. Lastly, let's look at how adolescent irresponsible behaviors affect the nation as a whole. We have seen that indulging in adolescent irresponsible behaviors has a lot of bad effects on the individual adolescents. What about the nation? Adolescent irresponsible behaviors do not only affect the lives of the victims, but also affect the nation in a lot of dimensions. In one of the dimensions is the loss of active human resources. The active part of the human population is the youth, the adolescents, okay, between the ages of 18 and 54. If the youth, the adolescents, are those that are involving themselves in irresponsible behaviors, where would be our human capital? The capital resources that will be working for the economy of the nation, where would they be? Okay, there will be loss of active human resources. Some will commit abortion and die. Some will turn out to be school dropouts, so they will not be able to get the necessary training and education to become materialized to the nation. They will lose their level of materialism. The nation will find nothing important to use them for because they have no educational background. They have not undergone any proper training. They are just moving about doing bad things in the community. They are not doing anything, any better job. So there will be a loss in the economy of the nation and loss in the human capital, the human resources, the capital resources that are needed to work to improve upon the economy of the nation. Next one is the decrease in productivity. Okay? If there is loss of the capital resources, the humans that will be working to improve upon the economy of the nation, then where would productivity be? The humans are the ones that are causing the productivity. Okay? So if the humans are not there, the working resources are not available, where would productivity be? Okay, so there will be a decrease in the productivity of the nation. Next, there will be an increase in the cost of health care. Now go to the psychiatric hospitals. Go and see the number of youth and people that are there receiving health care attentions. They involve themselves in the smoking of weed, marijuana, and all kinds of bad drugs. Some taking in cocaine and the rest. And now they have gone mad. They are out of their senses. They do things without knowing what they are doing. They are at the psychiatry and the government is the one taking care of them. Government is paying for all their health care there. Imagine if they haven't involved themselves in the smoking of weed. That part of the money that government has spent on them could be used for other projects that will benefit you and I in the nation. Okay? There will be also increase in poverty rates. Yes, because there is loss of active human resources and decrease in productivity. Where would money come from? And also the people themselves that have involved themselves in those irresponsible behaviors. The people that have stopped schooling and walking about, the people that have become pregnant, the teenage pregnant ones, those that are causing robbery and the rest. They are not working, and that by the time they come to their senses, everything is gone. They don't have any time to go back to school, become trained so that they can work officially. They turn out to be the poor people we have in our societies. Yes, if you like, ask them. Approach any poor person around you, anyone you tag as a poor person, and ask the person what he or she did in the days of his or her youth, or in the days when the person was an adolescent, that has landed him or her in the place she finds herself now. She will tell you what she did. She involved herself in sexual immorality. She stopped schooling. She got pregnant at age 15 and a whole lot. And now she's poor. She cannot even take care of her children. She involved herself in a lot of irresponsible behaviors and turned out to become the poor person you see now. She cannot even take care of her children, and now her children are also following the same path. Because the mother cannot provide, they have to involve themselves in adolescent irresponsible behaviors to also cater for themselves. So they will end up following what the mother has already established, becoming the next generation of poor person in that family line. Tell me you don't want to be one of those people, okay? The last one here is increase in crime wave. Yes, increase in crime wave. Because the adolescent has stopped schooling and has involved himself or herself in armed robbery, sexual misconduct, and all those irresponsible behaviors, there is increase in crime wave. Okay? Increase in crime wave such as killing of people, causing of murder, take their belongings. Okay? They also get out of their senses. They get mad. And when they smoke those weeds and cocaine and marijuana and get out of their senses, they can cause any kind of harm to anyone they encounter. Okay? Because they become poor at the end, they have to kill people to take their belongings. There is no peace. Now everyone in the nation is taking serious care of themselves because of armed robbery. Imagine if we haven't involved ourselves in any of those irresponsible behaviors. Would these things have resulted these days? No. I will urge you to go and find out more and more of the negative effects of adolescent irresponsible behaviors on the development of the nation Ghana. Okay? A little advice for you. You are a young adult. You might be in your early adolescent period, your mid-adolescent period, or your late adolescent period. You have heard a lot from me today from this lesson. You know what can result if you indulge yourself in any of the irresponsible behaviors I have spoken about in this lesson. I will urge you to take my advice. Be very closer to your parents. If you have anything to inquire, any kind of question to ask concerning your development, your parents are the right people to ask. Okay? Ask them, be close to them. They will teach you everything that you are supposed to know. Don't go and ask your friend. Your friend will pollute you. You will end up becoming the person you never dreamt of becoming. Now, take very good care of yourself. I will say it again. This too shall pass, as said by our President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. If you don't have anything better doing outside, stay at home, watch my video lessons and all the other video lessons at your disposal. Do all assignments and exercises and make sure you submit them for marking and grading. Stay home, take good care. If there is the need for you to go out, make sure you mask on and practice the social distancing protocols. Now take good care of yourself until we meet some other time. On the lesson that will feature the ways we can correct adolescent irresponsible behaviors and why we should be chaste whilst we are still in our youthful ages. God be with you. Take good care. Bye-bye.